I know, right? Now I'm all nervous. Like,
Me
too.
Like
we was all amped and stuff.
I know. I'm so nervous.
Oh, jeez. Okay. All right. Welcome to our first ever podcast episode. Yay! I'm Goddess Zuri,
I'm Cora.
and you are tuned into not another fucking podcast. Yes, another fucking podcast. Okay. So we are going to start with our introduction to our lives. So, yeah.
Take it away, big sis. You got this. You're doing great.
This is so weird.
It is. It's so weird.
It's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be. Like, I don't know.
I feel like it's like more authentic. Like we were just on the couch, and
I
like
know, like if somebody would just filming us holding the camera, like we were just sitting on the couch talking or something. Like knowing that, like we all set up and stuff to do this is like weird.
Yeah, it is. It's very weird.
It's like, oh, what do I say? Am I gonna sound stupid? Well, anyways, we are sisters, blood sisters, half sisters, but same mom, different dads. So, and we kind of had a slightly different upbringing. So, we kind of just wanted to bring you our story with getting started with this. So, like, you guys know about us. We just finna lay it all on the table. So, I am the oldest by 7 years. And yeah, I am from Chicago, Illinois. And shit. Damn, what else? Like it's so much, but I'm trying to figure out how I want to start this off. Like it all started in 1986. Like
those glorious 7 years
on a full moon
of being an only child.
Yes, I was the only child for 7 years. Yes, no, but yeah, shit was crazy. Like, I don't know. Our mom, she moved to Florida when I was like 5 years old. So she left me with my paternal grandmother and my father, who raised me mostly. And I would go down to Florida to visit her and my siblings. So it was crazy. Growing up was definitely a bit difficult because I didn't live with my mom for a long time. Like even before like she moved to Florida, I still spent a lot of time at my grandma's house. Like I remember my grandma always telling me, "Yeah, she brought you over when you was 3 months old, and you never left after that."
That's so crazy.
She was like, "Yeah," she was like. She's like, because mom worked and stuff a lot. So she was like, she felt better knowing that I was there. So that mom wasn't leaving me with different people and stuff. Mm-hmm. So she basically just took over. And, I do remember spending time with mom and stuff before she moved to Florida and being at grandma's house. But my memory's kind of short with that. So, I remember when I went to Florida for the first summer. It was crazy because that was the first time I went to Disney World too. My grandma and some friends of hers and their kids, we all like hopped in a van and we drove down there from Chicago. So we stopped in Atlanta. I remember this too. I was like 5 going on 6. And we stopped in Atlanta and I almost drowned in Atlanta.
Wait, what?
Yes, in the hotel pool. I had jumped in the water and I couldn't swim.
Oh no!
Yeah, somebody had to jump in and get me. Like I remember that shit. I would almost drown.
Damn, I was almost the only child. Shit.
Yes.
I would have been at 17, but I'm just kidding. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yes. So like So we went to Atlanta, then we went to Disney World and all of that. And they had drove me to Fort Myers from Orlando.
That's where I was born.
Yeah.
CJ.
And that's where mom was. So it was my first time visiting her since she had moved to Florida. So they drove me down to Fort Myers, and that's when I had spent the summer there from that trip. And I ended up flying back to Chicago. So that was my first time on a plane. I don't know if you ever seen that meme, like everybody's first plane ride was to Florida.
Mhm.
I was like, well, mine was actually from Florida
Oh, that's so funny.
to Chicago.
Wait, were we born?
No,
Okay,
you
okay.
wasn't even born yet.
Okay.
So
were we like was she pregnant?
she wasn't pregnant, and
Okay.
she wasn't with your dad, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who she was with.
Damn.
I don't know. I don't remember that. Like, it was the following summer that you were born.
Oh, okay.
You were a baby. So the following, because like I said, I came down there every summer. So it was the following summer. But that first summer, I don't know who she was with or where she was. I just remember my first plane ride was going back to Chicago, and I rode on a plane by myself.
Damn.
Yeah, and back then they used to have like a flight attendant sit with you.
Yeah, for an unaccompanied minor.
Mm-hmm.
Do they even still do that anymore?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah.
So that was like every summer until she moved from Florida. I remember the summer after you were born when she was pregnant with CJ. So this was about the third summer.
So this would be summer of '94 because he was born.
Yeah, in October. Yep. Yeah. I remember she slipped on some ice she was working at Ponderosa as a waitress. And I remember getting in a taxi with her dad going to the hospital because she was pregnant and she slipped on some ice.
Ice? Where in Florida? Like
in the restaurant.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And it was you was a baby, and your dad and me, and we had to get in a cab and go to the hospital to check on her. I mean, she was obviously okay, and CJ was okay. But like those are like things I distinctly remember about being down there. And I remember that summer that I came when you was born, and we went to J.C. Penney's and took those pictures.
Oh, yeah. I obviously don't remember the pictures, but right? Yeah. Oh, I didn't know those at J.C. Penney's. Oh.
I think it was J.C. Penney's or Sears or something. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, so that was like my childhood that I remember my mom like, and it was weird because it's like, kids would always be like, "Where's your mom?" And just like growing up was always difficult. Like, oh, I don't live with my mom. She lives in Florida with my brother and sister, and it just sounded weird. Like, why don't you live with them? It was like, I just don't. So I do also remember coming down there and we went to Disney World. This was my second time going to Disney World when Aunt Merlin brought me down there. And we got called, we got paged in the park by our aunt.
I just remember you like saying this story when we first talked about this a couple weeks ago. And the kids walked by and they're like, "What's a pager?" And I was just like, "Oh my gosh."
Well, I mean, like, because they paid like over, like the intercom.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah, it was the intercom, so like everybody heard it.
Mm-hmm.
And we found out there was like some drama that was going on with your dad.
Of course.
And we had to leave immediately. I was 10 and mad as hell because I was at Disney World.
Oh my gosh, I would have been mad too.
Yeah.
Damn.
I was like, what? And yeah, it was crazy. Your dad had ran off with you and CJ and stuff.
Of course he did. Thankfully, he brought us right back.
Yeah, so it was our childhood has been crazy. So then, what? Several, not several years later. This is like the following year because I'm like I was 10. When I moved up to Menominee, I was going on 11. So you were what, 4?
Hmm.
Yeah, you were 4, and CJ was
3. He's right behind me.
he was almost 3. He was 2 because it was a summer.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, he was 2, almost 3, and you and CJ and Mom had just moved up to Menominee like a little while before I got up there, and I was tricked. I was tricked to come up here because I was still living in Chicago with my grandma and my dad, and I thought I was just visiting Mom for the summer again, like I was doing in Florida. But no, I was coming to live. And I remember the first apartment. Do you remember that apartment that we was in? It was a 2-bedroom. It was on Shabacker.
Vaguely
Yeah,
remember it.
yeah.
I just remember that white dresser with the like colorful knobs on it. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember that too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she had a 2-bedroom, and she had put all 3 of us in the same room. This is before we moved.
What?
Yeah.
Dang.
This is before we moved on in Cedar Grove.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, and CJ, this was before his tonsils were removed. Do you remember him snoring like really loud?
Yeah. I remember like hearing about that story, and I vaguely do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
damn, she should have got a 2-for-1.
He was 2 years old, snoring like a grown man.
Yeah, I remember her saying that.
Yes, yeah. And we had bunk beds, and the bottom bunk was a full, and she had you and CJ sleeping at the bottom, and I was at the top.
Mm-hmm.
And CJ would be snoring so loud.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was so difficult to sleep.
That's so crazy.
Yes. But then shortly after, he had his tonsils removed. And I remember that, and he couldn't really eat nothing but ice cream.
Oh.
Yeah. And that made things better. With the snoring.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and I remember because and then, oh gosh, when we was also in that apartment, we used to get into it. You probably don't remember that too. But I had like all my Barbies and stuff, and at that time I wasn't used to sharing, like, you know.
Oh no.
So you would get into all my Barbies and stuff, and I would get so mad. And my grandma, when she came to visit, she used to bring up this story a lot too. She was like, when Mom had left for work, you threw a tantrum. She was like, I've never seen a child throw a tantrum like that before. She used to talk about that all the time.
Oh my god!
I personally don't remember the tantrum, but she obviously did.
Oh my gosh!
I guess you cried for a long time. And I don't know, it was weird because I'm like, Mom worked all the time, so it's like, why?
And she's not even like an affectionate person,
right? It's
so
like
so weird that I was like, oh, I guess because she's Mom,
or maybe because my grandma was somebody that you weren't used to.
Yeah.
She was like, oh, she's like, I've never seen a child throw such a tantrum. Like that.
Your grandma's awesome. She's so nice.
Yeah, so that was funny. And then, oh my gosh, I remember Mom whipping my ass in that apartment too, because I don't know. Do you remember the black girl I used to kick it with, Ashley?
I don't think
because her mom watched y'all for a little while too.
Was she the one I said looks like Lisa Ray?
No.
Somebody else.
Her mom, because she had a son, I think that was around y'all age too, who was like biracial. Like she stayed on our street.
No, I do remember that because I always was like, why are they like? And he,
No, I remember she had older kids too.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. But she was married to a white man, and she had a younger son too.
Yeah, I remember that.
But she met her through me because me and Ashley was in the same grade. Ashley ended up committing suicide too. Yeah. some years ago, like because we were Facebook friends for a while.
Damn, well, we'll talk about that one.
Yeah.
There's that one later. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Damn.
But damn, where was I going with this?
She was Ashley's mom was watching us.
Yeah. So oh yeah, I remember she mom whooped my ass in that apartment because I wasn't supposed to have anybody in the house while she was there. And Ashley had came over, and I guess she was on her period or something, and like she had dropped some like toilet paper that had blood on it, and it like went behind the toilet, and mom saw it, and she was like, because I remember her asking me, she was like, "Oh, did you start your period?" Because I didn't have a period at that time. And she was like, "Did you start your period?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "Who was in my house?" I was like, "What?"
Oh my gosh.
And I ended like we went back and forth. I was like, "Nobody," and then like she just ended up getting it out of me. And I was like, "Ashley was here."
That's crazy.
And she ended up whooping my ass.
She did the same thing with me when I skipped school with my friend Holly, and like Holly lived on like the third or fourth floor. And when I tell you, like, it was so crazy because her older sister, got a phone call. She was like, "Oh yeah, they're here. They're both here." Blah blah blah. So they called off the whole search. They found out where we were, whatever. And then mom came, and she was like, "Come on, let's go." And I was like, "Wow, she seems pretty peaceful. I guess I'm good. I'm not gonna nothing bad's gonna happen." Baby, when I tell you she shut that door and she pulled out that brown belt like she was starting a fucking lawnmower. And she whooped my ass. I'm talking about ping pong down the fucking. Mind you, she was on the fourth floor. Ping pong ass whooping all the way down the stairs. I'll never forget it.
See, she didn't have the brown belt at that time. She whooped my ass with her house shoe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I remember. I remember the days before the brown belt. After the brown belt, my whole life changed. Like a whole, it's like a whole chemical in my whole brain, like completely changed after that fucking belt. I don't even remember. I vaguely remember life.
Oh gosh, I think she got that brown belt. Was that grandma?
Yeah.
Was it after she died or just?
No. Grandma gave it to her. Yeah. This is what you need to be using. Damn.
Oh my god, toxic. But yeah, so yeah, me and mom used to butt heads so much. And then like when we moved to Cedar Grove, like I was cool because I had my own room briefly.
That was fun.
I had my own room briefly while you and CJ shared a room. And then she was like, "Oh, CJ's getting older and he doesn't need to be sharing a room," but blah blah blah. I was like, what they got to do with me?
Fast forward to you and your kids now, but okay. All right. We'll get back to that another day.
Right. I was like, well, shit, get a 4-bedroom.
Well, shit, back then it was easy. You can't say shit like that now. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So it was definitely crazy growing up. I feel like mom should have definitely took that opportunity because we hadn't had like that closeness, that relationship. I just always feel like she should have taken that time that when I was living there to try to like get closer. It's like, she had you and CJ since y'all was born. Me and her had like a huge gap in our relationship. And when I came to live with her, it was like during that adolescence time, that puberty time. So it's like teenage years, like
hormones, yeah.
It would have. I definitely think it would have made things a lot easier with us had she
kept you the whole time,
kept me the whole time, or at least just been more like communicative, like just.
Well, like I feel like I can say with my oldest going through her puberty now, it is a lot easier because I've been there like since day one and stuff. Like they've spent like summers and stuff like that with like family people and stuff like that. But like my thing is like I've been there since the beginning. So when like I don't know. I just felt like it gradually like went into it. So when she does kind of go too far deep into the hormones, like, wait, girl, remember that one time when you was 6
Yeah.
and we had that bond? Please don't leave me. Don't get
Right.
crazy. Don't let the hormones take over you. Where I felt like she has a huge gap. So it's like she knew you as this, you left, you came back, now you're a completely different person
Yeah.
because of the hormones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And she don't even know who you are. She doesn't know how to communicate. She doesn't know how to like, okay, my kid's going through it now. But like I know that, you know, a couple years ago, this is her favorite song, this is her favorite treat, this is her favorite movie, this is her favorite
Right.
show. So we had like a little bonding moment
Right.
outside of her going through her puberty
Right.
stage, where I don't feel like mom had that with you because
No.
it's like she didn't really know you.
She didn't. She didn't know really anything about me besides the fact that I wanted to be a famous singer. Like,
Yeah.
you know, and that was like, because that was all I talked about in, you know, in cheer, you know.
Mhm.
But that was it. And I just felt like, oh, she just wants me here to help out. Like, I literally felt like Cinderella. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
And I feel like that's her in general because even me being there most of the time, it's just like she never was really supportive with any type of, and I'm not gonna like bash her like she's horrible or anything, but like she just never, I feel like our mom was the type of mom where it's just like food is on the table, clothes on the back, roof over the
Yep.
head. That is me being a mom, me being a parent versus
Yeah.
like getting to know your child. Like, oh, your kid
Yeah.
scraped and got a boo boo. Your kid had a nightmare. I remember one time I had a nightmare so bad I almost pissed on myself. And I still even remember the nightmare to this day. I won't get into detail, but like it's very irrelevant. But like it was just like, oh my gosh, mom, I'm scared. Like this is what happened. Like I'm shaking. And she's just like, you don't get your ass back in the bed. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, with my kids, I don't like sharing my bed, but I will tell them like, okay, like just come in here, kind
And
of
lay
calm down,
Yeah.
get a drink of water. If it's really late and I'm tired, I'm like, just go to sleep. But if it's just like, I really want the bed to myself, I'm like, okay, just get a drink of water, calm down a little bit. I'll give you your 10, 15 minutes with me. But then after that, like, please go to your bed. That's enough for them.
Yeah.
Like, that's just like, wow, okay, like that's even if the nights where I'm just like, I really want the bed to myself, like, please, like just 10, 15 minutes. We're like, okay. It's just that safety and that security where like
Yeah.
mom was never like that. I even told my kids the other day, I was like, I don't ever think I've ever heard her call me like, wow, you're beautiful. Wow, you're so pretty. Like, oh my gosh, like homecoming,
Yeah.
middle school dances, like any type of formal chorus trips where we had to dress up, anything formal. I never remember her like, wow, you look so beautiful. Wow, you look so pretty. I'm so lucky to have you. My kids get so sick of me saying that because I say it all the time. Like, girl, you're going to have such a big head that when a guy ever compliments you, you're like, yeah, I know.
Right.
Like my mom has told me that my whole life. I already know.
As she should.
Exactly. So it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like mom was just never really a
And,
nurturer.
I mean, yes, and she got that from grandma, but see, my whole thing is, it's like, okay, yeah, that might have been how you was raised, but did that not bother you? You know, because it's like, okay, well, you raised us like this, but obviously things bothered us that we switched it up, and we didn't want to carry that on to our own children. So it's like, okay, if you know, grandma raised you like this, um, wasn't there things that bothered you that you didn't want to carry on and raise your children like what, are you just okay? Like,
well, like I feel like her generation was kind of like, this is what I'm used to, this is what
yeah,
the previous
yeah,
is, so I'm gonna carry that on into
yeah,
my parenting. Where our generation is more of like, yeah, me and you are like 7 years apart, so our generations are a little different, but we're also both technically still millennials.
yeah.
So it's just on the different ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But like our generation is about like breaking, like that's a huge thing in our generation, our culture now is breaking those
breaking the generational curses. Yeah.
where it's just like, I don't want history to repeat itself. Like,
Right.
period. Like, this is not okay. Like, just because this person is your family, they're their blood, they're this, they're that, that's what we're used to. It's in the family line, it's in the family blood. It's not okay.
Exactly.
Right is right, wrong is wrong. Just black and white.
Yeah. You want to talk about where you started with things with mom and your dad? Because, I mean, you kind of had that two-parent relationship for a brief moment.
When?
Well, I guess you don't remember the beginning, but mom did get back with your dad for like
Okay.
briefly. So you,
So yeah, Corey here, born in Florida, moved to Wisconsin about what, maybe like 2, 3, 3, 4,
yeah, you were probably like
3,
three,
4.
four,
Yeah,
yeah.
moved to Wisconsin and was up there. I remember like my dad coming. Okay, so like it's you're the oldest, and I feel like CJ's just kind of like, who is this person? You're the oldest, and then it's me, and then our little brother CJ is right behind me. Him and I are full blooded siblings, and biologically, you're our half. And it's just like I don't know. I guess I would say I feel like I remember like maybe 8, 9 or something. Him coming to visit and like
Oh yeah, he
yeah, he
did
was
come to
yeah.
Menominee. I
Uh-huh.
remember that.
Yeah, he came to visit a few times there. And then um if we fast forward a little bit to when me and my brother were in our mid-teens and my mom was like, "Oh, they're about to, Cora, maybe I was like, oh, in a couple years, they're gonna be 18, and I just want to just really live in this moment and just really, take it all in." And I think she just wanted to try to test out that last family dynamic. That actually blew up in her face because that was when I was 15, and that was when my dad kicked me out on the street, and I've been on the streets ever since, up until I had kids.
And wasn't that when she quit her job with
Mhm.
Walmart distribution?
Yep,
Because she was there for a minute.
yeah, she has been with Walmart distribution since as long as I can
Yeah, since
remember.
I was like 12.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, as long as I thought that was the only job she's ever had. To be
Right.
honest, and when
That job helped her move around.
yeah, she was talking about. They were talking about bartenders, and she knows this person on TV and this. And I was like, oh, really? They all work at Walmart distribution center? Because I thought that was the only job she ever had. But yeah. So she quit that and moved to. Well, actually, she quit it, moved to Gainesville, Florida, when I was 14, and then I got into some trouble with my now ex-husband slash baby dad. But at the time, like, we were in high school and I skipped school for his birthday, and then I went to move with her and then came back. She was working at the DC down there. She transferred down there to be closer to me and CJ. And then I guess her and my dad, I don't know what happened, what they talked about, but I guess they tried to rekindle things because I was very confused. Nobody really talked about. Nobody ever like sat down like the Brady Bunch and was just like, "Hey guys,
we're gonna get back together.
We're getting back together. This is what's happening." No, it was just like me and the CJ are like, "Bro, where's mom and dad?" Because I think they just went into the same room and the lights turned off. Like, they're just very shocked.
We're all living together.
Yeah, again. And dad talked mad shit about mom to the point where me and him have gotten to physical altercations. Like, I'm not scared of fighting anybody because I've literally fought a grown man. So I just like multiple times. So I was just like, oh, okay. But like, I don't know. That was just so.
That was
weird.
Awkward. Like,
yeah.
I didn't expect that. And it was like, I was like, damn, is she going through like a midlife crisis or something? And she didn't quit her long-term job. And I remember her saying something like, she was about to open up a business and stuff. That was like,
oh my gosh,
I'm like,
yes.
oh my gosh, this is Charles talk.
No, yeah, yeah, she said that. No, what ended up happening was she had her 401k, and then when she got down there, I think what happened was my dad has always been like some get rich quick scheme, whatever. So when she got down there, I think he was like telling her like, "Oh, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do." And then when she got down there, she realized that's not like happening, and you're not making moves. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And then he stopped paying the bills. So she was using all her 401k
to pay the bills.
And then that's when she got into the hole and then got into like, yeah, it was just bad.
Oh gosh. That's crazy. I remember when me and CJ kind of talked about a lot of this and stuff, and he was like, he didn't even realize that I had never lived with y'all.
Yeah.
He was like, all of a sudden you just disappeared. He was like, he thought I was there the whole time.
I think it was because like
because he was so young.
Yeah, I think me and CJ being 17 months apart, we're a lot closer. Like, this is our view, and then you just kind of see.
Do you remember like me coming in, or like do you have the same view as CJ? Like, like all of a sudden I'm just gone now, or
I don't remember the all of a sudden you're gone now. I remember the coming in part. I remember
so you do remember like we
Yes.
wasn't living together, and then I
Yes.
just showed up.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
yeah.
I was. Well, I think it was. I remember the move. I remember us touring the apartments, and then when we moved, it was like I remember me, mom, and CJ touring the apartment. Us three. So then when we moved in, it was like, poof, turn around. I was like, oh, where'd you come from? Like, oh, you're moving in with us? That's cool. And then it was just like the four of us. And I do remember you leaving because you got into the car, and I believe your grandma and your aunt were there. And then
No,
somebody, I don't know.
my
someone was
dad
there.
and his girlfriend at the time had came and got me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just remember mom crying. The neighbor came
Yeah,
out.
yeah, our neighbor, like, cause she was all like, "You need to hug your daughter." Blah blah
Oh.
blah.
I
Like,
guess I always thought Gina and your grandma were there. I don't know why. I always thought they were there.
Gina never visited. My grandma visited a few times.
Yeah.
While I was there, but Gina never came. But
yeah, I remember the neighbor. She came out and she was like talking with mom, and well, they were also Somalian, so they're like the culture and stuff. You know, you're leaving your mom. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, and I went to try to hug mom before I left, and mom was like, "No."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that happened to us too with an incident. She's very stubborn. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. I can never imagine like my child getting ready to move away somewhere and not hugging her or anything, like showing any type of affection. Like me and Anaya butt heads, like, and it's not even like that bad, you know. I feel like it's typical teenage shit, but it's like it's not to the point where like I could never, if Anaya was to be like, you know what, at 18, like I'm sick of y'all. I'm sick of being in this house. I don't want to live with y'all no more. I'm moving out. Like, I would respect that, but I would never like be so upset to the point where I couldn't hug her, show any type of affection, and be like, you know, okay, I understand. You're welcome back at any time.
I just, yeah, like just the other night, like Emma got grounded. She got in trouble, and like I sent her to bed, and like this, actually, that was last night. This morning, she was like, it was just so, I was just so sad, like that we didn't get to do our secret handshake and hug and kiss goodnight, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I was literally crying about that too. Like I'm so hardcore. I have so much masculine energy. It's not even funny.
Oh god.
But when it comes to my babies, I'm just such a big zombie, and it just makes me so sad that like, oh man, like she said that I could not imagine like her just saying like, "Hey mom, I know we're going through our stuff," especially with like, you know, my new partner, and like we're talking about like, you know, having kids and stuff in the future, and like what if it gets overwhelming for her, and you know, in her teen years, and she's just like, "Hey mom, I want to go live with my dad." I would lose my shit. I'd be so sad, but at the same time, my kids are old enough to make that, you know, someone make that decision, and with all the technology, calls, texts, like all that stuff, tracking devices and everything. But like, I'm gonna find my babies. But like, it's just like, I don't know. I would never want her, like, God forbid anything is this crazy world could happen. I wouldn't want her last memory, her last thought of, wow, I tried to hug my mom and she was like,
right,
I'm good, bro. Like, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, right. That's exactly how with that. And you know what? It was crazy because that was probably the first time I saw mom cry. Like, she didn't cry, but she did shed some tears. Like, so I knew that me leaving wasn't emotional for her. But it's like, okay, so obviously this is an emotional time. Why are you not being vulnerable to the moment? Like, you that hard, like, you know, like, shit. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like,
but she's always been like that. The only time I've ever seen her cry was when her mom died.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen her break down.
And she was upset about, well, you seen her cry. I wasn't actually there, but with
Frida. Those are the only two times I've seen her actually break down. Was grandma and her sister died.
Yeah. But it's like, why can't you have these strong emotions and feelings
with your own children?
But in life. I just would never understand. There's been times where I was, you know, shipped off and shipped away and on the streets and stuff. since I was 15 and everything, and just not even caring, not even acknowledging, oh, why are you so close to your friends? Why are you this and that? Because they raised me. Like, they literally raised me, bro. I literally made a kit for Emma with clothes, sanitary wipes, like all like a huge care package for when she goes to middle school in case her friends something happens, and in case Emma has to be the friends that I had that raised me, in case they don't have that. And it's not fair. Like babies raise like kids raising kids and shit like that. Like why can't I? I never felt safe enough to tell her. We never had the sex talk. We never, and she was like, I told you about that when?
No, yeah, and she like, and she, when because I was in Menominee when I had my first cycle, and the only thing I remember her telling me about it was, oh, when you wear a pad, it's gonna feel like you have on a diaper and everybody can see it, but nobody can't see it. That's the only thing I remember her saying about it.
My mom, like, so I remember, like, I cannot tell you what I had for breakfast a couple days ago, but I can tell you when I had my first period. July 9th, 2006. I'm not even kidding you. And she, like,
I remember the month of mine.
So I remember the day too. And, like, because I remember I wrote the date down in my, like, diary and shit. So now it's, like, embedded in my brain. But I remember, like, it happened, and I called my dad. I was like, I think I'm dying. There's blood everywhere. I was a tomboy, and I thought, please don't show me. But I thought tomboys didn't get me. What? We're gonna be one of those people. Well, because those women who like don't have, like, oh, there's some women who can't have kids. And being young, I was like, oh, the women who get kids are probably the ones who have periods. And I wonder if tomboys don't have periods. I was like, oh, I'm just cute, because I also heard, like, oh, if you're very active, you won't get a period or you'll get a short period, which that part is actually true, because when I was very, very active, I did get very short. But anyways, but I was just like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm dying. And my dad, like, I was like, oh shit. I told him, and then his girlfriend, amazing woman, Mary at the time, and way too good for him. But that's my story for today. But like she like told me like the whole, this is what it is, pads, tampons, this, that. She even, the best part about this woman, she called mom and inserted her in the conversation and shit like that. And like that was it. But Mary did most of the talking. Like Mary did all of everything because she was like there, but mom never, do you want to call me in private or we could talk about it when you get up here? None of that shit. My dad had a longer sex talk with me than my mom did. And all he said was, after they cleaned me up, I went outside, or I went outside the bathroom, went to the living room, sat down. My dad put his arm around me. That means you can't be fucking anymore, right? Because now you're going to get pregnant. That was my sex talk. Like, well,
you can't be fucking.
Well, that was it. That was my sex talk.
You can get pregnant now.
And mom was like, "Oh my gosh, I had a sex talk with you." No, you didn't.
No, did she have with you? Absolutely not. I learned about sex.
CJ, and CJ said he
no. I learned about sex from TV, Friends, and sex ed, because we did
the next generation, and high school and junior high. Thank you, Degrassi. They raised me.
I'm like, no, she didn't have any type of sex ed. My grandma didn't. My dad didn't. Nobody had a sex talk with me, with no birds and a bees. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I haven't had a sex talk with my kids either, because I'm just kind of awkward with it. Like, and I feel like with Anaya being almost 16, I should. Yeah. And Jordan being almost 13, I should. But I guess because nobody had one with me, I don't know how to approach it. I don't know how to be like, well, and then they have like the internet. So it's like I almost feel like they know what sex is anyway. It's like, but at the same time, I do feel like it is my responsibility to, tell them, the right way, I guess. I don't know. Or the right information, not the right way. Yeah. I think not the right way to have sex.
I think it's because, like, I don't know. I feel like because I grew up very fast, I was on the streets, and, like, also, like, being just a child who's molested very young and shit like that. And that would be a story for another day. But, like, I just feel like with, like, the hyper sexualness of the person that attacked me and just being very young and stuff, I wanted to get ahead of the game. I wanted to just make sure that, like, and I do it very age appropriately, where it's like they always knew the actual clinical and slang words for all the parts and stuff.
Right.
But I was, we'd use like wee wees, movies, and stuff like that.
Cookie.
But
That's
yeah,
what we
cookies like
use.
that. Well, actually, there was I don't know how to say this, but like there was when I worked at the daycare, a kid, not when I worked there before then, but someone told me that a kid used to say, "My dad likes to eat my cookies."
Oh.
Yeah. And then eventually they found out what that meant. And so I wanted to make sure that my kids knew the actual clinical terms, stuff like that,
Yeah.
but like slangs and shit too. So each year that they grow up, I do kind of a little bit. That's my version. I really want to sit down with them and have it. I think I'm gonna do that after they actually menstruate, but like I just want to like, but I kind of like gradually like put it in there just so that there's no confusion. There's no, well, maybe this is right, maybe this is wrong. Like by the time I knew it was wrong, it's too late. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I just want to make sure that I'm just ahead of the game and shit like that. So I think that's where mine stems from. But no, I haven't really sat down just like with charts and like
like
PowerPoints and shit like that. Here's Ken, here's Barbie. This is what you should be
like if you guys do this, it can lead to this, and then
here's Ken, here's Barbie, here's baby Kelly. Like no, we're not doing that.
And then we have to talk about STDs and all that. It's like not even just like the birds and the bees. Like the birds, the bees, the diseases. Like,
I have 2 rules for my kids. Number 1, do not embarrass mommy in public. Number 2, do not make mommy a grandma before she's 40. Those are my only 2 rules. That's it. Do whatever you want. Like, be free. Just don't do that.
Oh my god.
Or get in a car with a drunk driver.
Yeah.
I'm like, please don't make me a grandma before I'm 40. Oh Lord Jesus. Help.
I don't know. I feel like I'll get there, but it's like so hard because when you don't have anything to stem from, like,
yeah,
and you don't know how like, your parents approach things, so it's like, okay, so how do you start this conversation?
It was another thing.
It's like, so I know you know what sex is.
Well, luckily I had like school. Luckily I had school and like a lot of teen shows were very popular during my day, like freaking South of Nowhere, Teen Instant Mom. Star, Degrassi, Teen Mom. Like I had a lot, 16 Pregnant. I had a lot of those shows that were able to like kind of have the talk for her and like do the work for her and shit like that. But I also want to like break those generational curses and like be comfortable and have that talk. And if they have any questions, I don't want them to find the answer from their friends because their kids learning too. Don't know. I want them to learn from me, and then they can go back and tell those friends who don't have, like I didn't have those parents. I want them to be like, well, this is what I know. I didn't read in the book. I didn't see it on the internet. My mom told me straight out of her fucking mouth, so I'm pretty sure it's true.
Oh, wow. This is gonna be a whole different episode, like, cause I literally have like an episode on parenting and momming and stuff. I
think this is just the big shebang episode, and then we can just part everything a little bit.
Right.
That was fun. I thought I finished my glass before we were done.
Are we done? Should we just end it there, or should we?
I think that was really good.
Yeah,
it's very.
Once we finally warmed up and stuff.
Yeah. And once the liquor started.
Yeah. Oh wow!
My face feels so heavy. This
your eyes probably feel real low.
I can't see shit. I was able to see for like 45 minutes. It's okay. I'm already going blind. I'm pretty sure.
Oh man, was that enough trauma for the episode?
Yeah, I was teared up a little bit, but I didn't cry.
I know, right? I thought we was gonna like break down and start.
I was like, please don't. I don't want to cry because these eyebrows or these eyelashes.
I think the alcohol helped.
Yeah.
They over there looking like shit. What the fuck did we get into?
like 10 minutes ago, I saw a friend stretching. I was like, oh, well, we should wrap this up soon.
They probably looking at us like, what the fuck these?
Wow, I didn't even know. It's crazy how we keep learning new stuff about each other. I didn't know that.
Yes. Oh, gosh.
Wait, what happened to Ashley?
So.
I remember when my best friend died, they were just like, how did it happen? And like, and I was just like, wait.
Yeah. Did you know mom fought, or well, not fought Ashley, but they had got into it
Really?
by the house. Yes, because mom was, Ashley had,
Not mom, the Christian.
yes.
Oh no.
So you remember Jinko jeans?
Not the Democrat, huh?
You remember Jinko jeans?
Hmm.
Jinko, okay, it was a popular brand at the time. So mom had bought me some Jinko jeans, and Ashley asked to borrow them, and I let her borrow them, and she wouldn't give them back. And so her friends were kind of hanging out by our house. This was when we was in Cedar Grove, and she was like, she had went out there and confronted Ashley about the jeans.
Mom did?
Yes. And Ashley started cussing mom out, and mom cussed her ass right back out. And I was just,
I miss the old mom like that.
she was
cool
she
as hell.
she was well, I wouldn't say cool as hell, but she showed her
Not
her
cool, but
Chicago thug.
Yeah.
Like she was going like, bitch, if you don't get my daughter back country. And I'm standing there like, because I'm shocked.
Where's her mom?
Well, her mom, they live like way down the street. So she was like by our house. Like her mom was nowhere around. And I'm standing there like, I don't know what to do. Cause I'm like at the same time, cause me and Ashley was going at it at the same time too, because I wanted my jeans back too.
Damn.
And I wanted to, I was afraid because I was like, I wanted to cuss Ashley out too with mom. But I'm like, I didn't, cause you know how mom is. I was like, shit, she might backhand me.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't talk like that anyway.
Right. But they was going at it and stuff. And I'm like, and then it was at the end, I was like, I wanted to say something. I wanted to cuss her out too, but I didn't want to get hit. And she gonna say, well, I wouldn't have said anything at the time.
What? Are you serious?
Yes, because I'm sitting there like, I'm shocked. Because for one, I'm shocked that Ashley is fucking arguing with our mom.
Yeah.
Like an adult, like cussing at her, going back and forth and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and
she always had issues.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I ended up getting my jeans back.
Did she take them off while y'all was
No, not at the time, but I guess I don't know. I think mom ended up like talking to her mom about the shit later, but yeah.
All civilized and shit after she cussed her out?
Yes, it was wild.
That's too much for me.
Y'all okay? Do you remember Jinko jeans? Was that because I was in Wisconsin when that
look that shit
was?
Up right now.
Yeah, because I don't know if it was popular in Chicago. Yeah, because they was like real wide leg and shit. Like it was like skater type.
Oh yeah, they were they're almost like trip pants.
Yeah. They was super popular up here around the time I was up here. Yep.
Yeah.
And like if you were cool, you had Jinko jeans, and like it took a minute for me to get them because you know mom was on her old school shit, and I had to convince her like damn, can I get some Jinko jeans? Like I'm trying to be cool.
For real.